Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First step in New Hampshire. Flake attracts Trump, calls for GOP primary challenge. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Retiring Arizona Senator Jeff Flake mingled with business leaders and others before launching an attack on the leader of his own party.
And the irony should not escape us here, that someone whose name became known to us as a builder would have such a penchant for destruction.
Senator Flake says perhaps nowhere is that more dangerous than the president's attack on what he referred to as objective reality.
And the reflexive impulse to speak falsely.
Flake telling the audience that Republicans have lost their way, that they are no longer the party of conservatism, smaller government, and free trade.
Say hypothetically, in 2018, we have a libertine, budget-busting president who exudes chaos and dotes on authoritarians.
Flake says instead of conservatism, the president has ridden a wave of populism to the highest office in the land.
It involves resentment and anger. And resentment and anger are simply not a governing philosophy.
In his address, the senator also talked about the need for government reform, especially when it comes to the budget. And while there have been calls for the Senate to do away with the filibuster as part of those reforms, Flake says that would be a mistake.
Some of the worst laws that we have, legislation that has been passed, are those pieces of legislation that move through by a bare partisan majority.
And the senator also added that he hopes someone will challenge the president when the primaries roll around. As for the possibility that he might be the one to challenge the president in the Republican primary, Senator Flake called that a long shot, but didn't rule it out. In Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Judge won't reduce conviction of Bella Bond's killer. A man convicted in the death of a 2-year-old girl known as Baby Doe after her body washed up on a Boston Harbor island will not have his conviction reduced. Michael McCarthy, 37, was convicted of second-degree murder last year in the 2015 killing of Bella Bond, his girlfriend's daughter, was sentenced to life in prison. He will be eligible for parole after serving 20 years. On Friday, the judge rejected McCarthy's request to reduce his murder second-degree conviction to manslaughter in the toddler's death. A computer-generated image of the girl was shared by millions on social media after she was dumped Baby Doe by authorities trying to determine her identity. Suffolk's prosecutors argued against an effort to reduce the jurors' verdict from second-degree murder to manslaughter. Bella's mother, Rachel Bond, pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact for helping McCarthy dispose of Bella's body. Video, WMTW videographer captures tasty exchange between governor blogger. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
guys know about it. I don't know anything about it. Do you mind if you don't? Do you mind moving, please? You're eating my face.
You're the rude one, not me.
Please, Friday, man. Eat your lunch. You guys know about it. I don't know anything about it. Do you mind if you don't? Do you mind moving, please? You're eating my face.
You're the rude one, not me.
Please, Friday, man. Eat your lunch.
Okay, and that was video of that. Reporters and bloggers beware. Maine's governor think it's impolite to chop food in his presence. Republican Governor Paul LePage became exasperated and he used his hands to move a blogger who was munching too close to him during a news media scrum at the State House on Thursday. WMTW videographer captured the exchange on video. McCracken returned, "You're the rude one." He wiped his face before bounding away. Reporters were outside the governor's office to get his reaction to the judge's ruling that he overstepped his authority by closing a prison. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for your Friday evening. And your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. CNBC IQ 100 closed in the red and went down. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the green and went up. US 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the red and went down. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Stocks fell for the week on rising trade tensions. A slight gain on Friday was not enough to stop stocks for posting a loss this week, weighing down by fears of a possibly trade war and White House turmoil. Two firms involved in building bridge that fell, killing 6 had passed accusations. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
As temperatures continue to drop, the pipes inside your home are at risk of freezing or bursting.
Broken pipes at a Chelmsford home left a family without heat and water for days, and now
You're not going to remember the storm of the century as much as you'll remember the people who helped save the day.
Midtown Plumbing and Heating has been inundated with calls from homeowners in the past week.
Called Milltown Plumbing and Heating to try to get his home back in order.
Since 1979, Milltown has been making history in the Merrimack Valley area by being there when you need it most.
That deadly bridge collapse. You are looking at the scene there, live picture outside Florida International University, where that pedestrian bridge crashed just days after it was built.
Here's what we know right now. At least 6 people were killed, 10 others taken to the hospital. The 950-ton bridge cost more than $14 million. It was built using a new, quote, accelerated construction technique. See that time-lapse video right there, put in very quickly. ABC's Victor Kendo is on the scene with the latest. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, George. There are still bodies stuck underneath the rubble. This will be a very delicate process. Some heavy machinery has been brought in. The crews have to be careful out here. The concrete apparently crumbling a little bit more overnight. This bridge was supposed to make things safer for the students here at FIU and for the neighboring city of Sweetwater, but on Thursday, it came crashing down without warning.
This morning, officials say at least 6 people were killed and 10 injured when this pedestrian walkway collapsed at a Miami college.
Oh my God!
The moment caught on this traffic camera.
There's 2 cars under there.
A worker was on top of it when it fell.
Teams working through the night, searching for any signs of life underneath all that rubble.
We're using all of our equipment, we're using our search canines, and we're going to continue to search this pile until we're sure that there's no other survivors.
But as the night wore on, hopes dimmed, and then finally, word that rescue would become a recovery. It all started at 1:30 p.m. Thursday. The pedestrian bridge came crashing down without warning onto a busy thoroughfare, crushing passing cars and trapping drivers.
Ever since the bridge collapsed, and we have a report that several people injured at this time.
I saw the bridge just collapse in front of me, and it fell on the cars that were sitting there waiting for the light to change.
At least 4 cars under this bridge. 3, 4 are going to be unattainable at this time.
Witnesses describing the horror.
One of the guys who came out of the car, he said that he still had people in his car, and we looked, and the other half of the car was crushed.
I saw people running. There weren't any officers on the scene yet.
So it was chaotic.
It was like a movie.
I wanted to get under that bridge. I'm pretty sure many people wanted to help out. I wanted to go under there and try to pull people out if possible, but it was really dangerous.
The bridge weighed 950 tons and spanned 174 feet over a 6-lane road connecting Florida International University's campus with the neighboring city of Sweetwater. It was still under construction. The portion that collapsed installed just last Saturday in a matter of hours and had not yet opened to pedestrians. At least one of the injured, a pedestrian walking underneath the bridge.
He heard the crumbling and he was able to he reacted, but then he didn't react fast enough because there's no way to outrun 10,000 whatever boulders are coming crashing down, and he was hit.
Officers who were driving nearby raced to the scene. Sergeant Jenna Mendez climbing on top of the debris to help injured construction workers.
We had 2 unconscious, 2 conscious that were injured, just in a state of shock. One of the unconscious was not breathing. We started compressions on the one that was not breathing.
Being a dad and a grandfather, you just hope this would never happen to anybody in your family or any family that you know.
There is the possibility that more people are unaccounted for underneath the wreckage. Crews have not left the scene all night. This will be a very slow and methodical process now. George?
Okay, Victor, thanks very much.
Oh, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with another newscast. Good night, everyone. Bye.